within with me, if you would, this morning. Have a big old deep breath and anchor down. I know as we take these breaths together, as we settle in together into this moment, that we are alive and awakened to the presence of Spirit right here, right now, in and through each and every one of us as we connect across time and space. That we prove every day right now that there is really no time and space between us, but that it is our hearts beating together that truly matters. And so I call forth that presence of heart and of love and of peace into this experience where we are lifted and enlightened and moved and cared for, and that we come together in this thing we call Heart Tribe. I know this day is beautiful and expresses itself in so many ways, and that we lift these ideas of peace and love and compassion and joy out beyond all known space and time. And today we just call it good. We give thanks for all that is this Thanksgiving week. We give thanks because we still live in a place. Those of us who are in Colorado, we still live in a place where people come on vacation and the sun is shining and the mountains are beautiful. And maybe you live on the coast and you're in the sound of my voice, and the waves just continue to come moving in their rhythm and beauty. And that all of it is this life force which connects us all. The mountains, the trees, the ocean, the breeze itself, snow, wind, rain, sun. All of it connecting with us, with each other. I give thanks for it all. I allow it, the universe, God, Spirit, whatever we wish to call it, I allow space in my life today and this week to be surprised, delighted, blown apart by the power of its transformative nature and how it shows up in my life. If you wish to claim any of this for yourself today, simply do so by saying, "And so it is."
My day begins like any other as I make my way through this world, treading lightly so I don't bother anyone or anything, keeping all of my dreams bottled up inside till I can breathe. Oh God, I know I need to see things differently. I know there's more to my life than I let myself believe. All the great things I could be if I believe. And I know there's a place I can be where there's strength to face my fear, and a hero is revealed if I believe. I carry around my bag of failures. With each day I suffer more regrets. Oh, my past can bridge me to tomorrow. If I keep playing this same part, I'll lose my dreams and never start to realize the passions deep within, and all of my could have been. Got to live life deliberately. the strength to face my fear, and a hero is revealed, 'cause I believe.
Thanks, Val. Thanks, Jimmy. Love that song by Faith Rivera. Let's just start by taking our deep breath, going inside and knowing these words: care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Important words and important ways to feel into those words to carry us every day. So last week, Reverend Leah gave a great talk about how engaged is God as us. And she reminded us that God is engaged with us all the time. But the real question is, she said, are we engaged with God? So how did you answer that question for yourself this week? Why don't you just take another moment to think about it again, and think about it this time in terms of the idea that's presented by the title of today's talk in the 2020 Spiritual Journal, which is the idea that God is not motivated if you aren't. Didn't really like the title of that talk. It's a little heavy for me. I think it's a little admonishing. It's just kind of not my title. But anyway, we are going to talk a little bit about that this morning, but mostly because this is the Sunday before Thanksgiving, I'm going to talk about why the act of Thanksgiving, namely the act of practicing gratitude, is maybe the most important spiritual practice that we can engage in. Now, what do you think of when you hear that word Thanksgiving? Do you think of giving thanks for all of the abundance in your life? Or maybe do you think of turkey, stuffing, and pumpkin pie? Thanksgiving is a holiday in the US and in Canada, though on a different day. And really, it's my very favorite holiday. Even though I don't like turkey all that much, and eating it once a year is really more than enough for me, you know, I love this time of year. I love the season. I love knowing that I will get the opportunity to spend time with my family and my friends. And I love that the whole purpose of this holiday is to reflect, to take time out of my busy life and to reflect on all of the good that I have experienced and that I am experiencing. And it's 2020. This year, I know for me, maybe for you, seems like it's lasted several lifetimes. And I'm really ready to move on to 2021. Maybe you are too, because I'm just anticipating that it's going to be calmer, kinder, and happier. But Thanksgiving, right now, giving thanks, knowing gratitude for so much good in my life, it is just one of my favorite spiritual practices, and I want to share a little bit about that with you today. Now, as I was thinking about all of this throughout the week, I kept feeling this big resistance building up in my inner being. And, how could I possibly talk about gratitude when it's been such a difficult year for all of us? It's been overwhelming with so much uncertainty and increased stress due to the many things that are going on that seem to be so far out of our control. And I suspect that this might be a very difficult holiday coming up for many people, since not all of us will be gathering with our friends and our loved ones due to the pandemic. I know that many of you live alone, and my heart and my love go out to you as you move through this coming holiday season. But I'm reminded, as I say every week, about what Glennon Doyle says, and that's, we can do hard things. But thinking of all of these hard things that we've experienced This year left me wondering how to speak to you today about giving thanks. Through all of this turmoil, how do we really go to that place where we find things to be grateful for? But it reminded me that what I've come to know over the years and what I've come to believe is that it's in times like these that it is exactly the time to ask you, to ask me, to ask all of us to practice gratitude and to give thanks for all of the good that we do have in our lives. Because it's when life seems the hardest to bear, when we are sad, lonely, and aching, that we need to focus on what we can control and to practice those self-care strategies that will ensure that we can respond to life's continuing challenges in a healthy way. Really, it's in times like these that practicing gratitude has the most power to change our lives. There was a great quote in this week's spiritual journal entry from Elizabeth Gilbert that says, "The universe buries strange jewels deep within us all and then stands back to see if we can find them." And boy, this year has us reaching for all of those strange jewels, and we have been having to dig deep. But gratitude can really help us find those jewels. Do you know where the word gratitude comes from? When I was kind of looking around, I found this great quote from Deepak Chopra, who tells us that not only does the word gratitude come from the Latin root gratus, meaning pleasing, welcome, or agreeable, but he also says that the Latin word gratus itself comes from a much older root word, guer, meaning to praise, to celebrate, to be in contact with the divine. In other words, he says, being grateful is equivalent to feeling the presence of the divine in our lives. It's the same as being in a state of bliss. It allows us to see value, virtue, and benefit in everything. In fact, he says, requiring no special training, theological studies, or exhausting practice, gratitude might be the ultimate spiritual practice. The 13th century philosopher Meister Eckhart supports that theory, and you've probably all heard that he said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. I also liked what Luis Romero, who is a contributor to Forbes magazine, says about gratitude. He says that gratitude is the act of feeling and communicating appreciation for the people, circumstances, and material possessions in our lives. It allows us to cherish our present in ways that make us feel in abundance rather than deprived. As a result, we become more motivated, less fatigued, and ultimately better off. And in the Science of Mind Foundations class, students learn that gratitude is the practice of the realization that all good has already been provided. Gratitude is more than a resultant emotion. It is a causative energy which reveals the ever-present abundance of the universe. Gratitude is a causative energy. It's an energy that produces an effect. Gratitude causes us to appreciate all of the good, the people, circumstances, and the stuff in our lives. Now, I had to notice that these definitions don't say that we get to appreciate only the people, circumstances, and the stuff we like. And sometimes, like during this past year when we've been hit with so much heartache, it can be hard to be grateful for all that we don't like or that we find painful. And I'm not suggesting that we use gratitude, that we give thanks for all of the heartache, trauma, and devastation that we experience by saying, it's all God, so it's all good, or some other metaphysical BS. I'm just suggesting that as we acknowledge all of the feelings and the emotions that we have in a real way, that we also may find peace, comfort, and benefit by finding some glimmer of light in whatever darkness we're experiencing. Because what I know for me is that It's grabbing onto that small glimmer of light that allows me to pull myself out of whatever despair I'm in long enough to really start the journey toward healing and finding joy in life again. And practicing gratitude is really the best way I know of how to do this. Now, practicing and experiencing gratitude has many, many benefits. It's been scientifically proven to improve our physical, our mental, our emotional, and our social well-being. It helps us better understand our innermost thoughts and feelings and get in touch with those. It helps us clarify our values about what's really important to us. And as Deepak Chopra and so many other spiritual teachers have taught, it also gives us many spiritual gifts because through it, we feel more connected to the universe. Chopra tells us that gratefulness is a fullness of the heart that moves us from limitation and fear to expansion and love. Isn't the fullness of the heart just the very best feeling? Can you go in? Can you just feel a fullness in your heart right now? Take that deep breath. Remember when we say care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion, we are building that fullness in our heart. And practicing gratitude helps us get to the peace, the love, and the comfort that that full heart brings. Gratitude connects our heart to spirit, reminding us that God is the source of all good. It gives us, as Reverend Barb says, new perspectives. I have my new perspectives this morning. It gives us new perspectives. It changes the way we see the world and the events going on in our lives and in the world around us. I liked a quote from another spiritual teacher I was reading that said that the struggle ends when gratitude begins. And if you think about it, giving thanks, practicing gratitude is really all part of this law of circulation that we teach. God provides everything for us, and we in turn give thanks for all of the good that we're able to receive. And you know, the best thing is that the more we give, the more we receive. I think one of the greatest realizations that we can ever have is to know that everything that we will ever receive comes from God, the source of all. And how wonderful it is to know that we have unlimited good at our disposal to choose from. We have an endless buffet to heap on our plate. But here's the thing. It's up to us to choose what we put on our plate. God provides, but we must take action to bring our choices into form. And so that title for today, even though I didn't like it, that God is not motivated if we aren't, it means that until we set the law into motion, nothing is going to happen. God does not act until we do. As Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind, God can only do for us what it can do through us. So it's up to us to participate in the law of circulation, to keep our hearts and our minds open so that we keep expanding our ability to accept more and more of the good that God has on offer. And we do that. We stay open to our good by being grateful, not only for what we have, but by giving thanks for knowing that unlimited abundance is ours. I know that we're going through difficult times, but I also love this quote from J.R.R. Tolkien in The Lord of the Rings that just reminds me of the way forward. Frodo says, "I wish it need not happened in my time." "So do I," said Gandalf, "and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us." I was reminded of that song from Rent, 525,600 minutes in a year. How are we going to use our 525,600 minutes in this year times however many years we have on this life. I think we do it by being grateful. So your assignment for this week is to decide how you're going to use the time that's been given to you. And if you want to do that by starting a gratitude practice, then let me just give you a few tips. So a gratitude journal is a great way to practice gratitude. So in the morning, in the evening, write down 5 to 10 things that day that you're going to be grateful for, or that you are grateful for as you start your day. Set your intention for the day. And in the evening, go back over your day and list another 5 to 10 things that you were grateful for during the day. It's really a great way to fall asleep giving thanks. You might write a thank you note to someone who's done something nice for you or shown you some kindness. One of my favorite ways is to go for a gratitude walk. Just to go and walk out in nature, just to be outside. Notice and appreciate whatever beauty there is around you. Maybe it's the warmth of the sun falling on your body. Maybe it's the nourishing moisture from a nice rain or a beautiful snow. Maybe it's the way the fall leaves crunch under your feet and give off that wonderful smell. Or maybe you could just go find a quiet place, find that feeling, that fullness of gratitude in your heart. And as Meister Eckhart says, merely say thank you. So I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today and for being a faithful part of our community and our heart tribe. We just want you to know how very grateful we are for each and every one of you. We wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Let's go into prayer. And so, in this moment, I am so grateful. I am so grateful for this time together, that even though we may not see each other on the screen, that we know that our hearts are always connected because we are part of the one. We are part of God, this one unity, this one love, this one peace, one joy. It is the beginning of everything, and it is everything and beyond. And so we come together, we share this time, we give thanks for this time, we give thanks for this knowing, we give thanks for coming to an understanding of how gratitude can help us get through hard times and do hard things. Knowing that even though we may not be surrounded by the physical presence of people, we are never alone. We are never alone because God is always with us. And we are never alone because there are people who love us that are just a phone call away. And all we have to do is reach out. Reach out and touch someone. I give thanks. I give thanks for each and every heart, each and every hand who is touched by this sharing today. I know only love, only love. And for that, I give thanks. And so it is. Amen.